Hey, dude, this dog stinks, man. Okay, groomer, do something about it, man.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey, all you pet stylists. You found the GroomPod. Welcome to our virtual salon. My name is Susie, and I'm your host. I'm a mobile groomer from Seattle, Washington, and anyone who knows me will tell you I love to talk, especially about my job. One of my favorite people to talk to is my friend and mentor and co-star of the show, Miss Barbara Bird.
Hey, Susie. Hello from South Carolina. I am so hyped to get into our conversation with Mary and Anjie. Thanks for setting that up.
It's going to be fun. Welcome to episode 419 of the GroomPod, recorded on July 14th, 2024 in Snohomish, Washington, Sequim, Washington, Holden, Massachusetts, and Simpsonville, South Carolina. That's a mouthful. This podcast is brought to you by our kind sponsors, Best Shot, Show Season, Precision Sharp, Groomore, and Stasco. And if you guys would like to support the podcast, you can do so at our website, thegroompod.com, and you can use the donation button, says Help Barbara, and you can use the Patreon button, that's a subscription service to support the show. This week on the GroomPod, we have Mary Oquendo and Anjie Coates, currently both from Pawsitive Ed, but maybe not for long. What's New is brought to you by Groomore Software. If you haven't found Groomore, you're missing out. Groomore is an all-in-one software solution for your grooming business. Whether you are a solo mobile groomer or manage several shops, Groomore has everything you need. 24-hour online booking and forms, routing, credit card processing, reminders, Google Calendar and QuickBooks integration, and so much more. And the best customer service anywhere. Shop, mobile, or house call, Groomore has you covered. And they're giving us a free month. Just enter GroomPod22 in the coupon code. Well, this certainly is an exciting day. Absolutely. We have two industry icons with us today. And a parrot that's decided to talk. I hope you guys can't hear that. Well, today we're going to be talking to Anjie Coates and Mary Oquendo about what's going on in both of their lives. Hi, you guys.
Hey there.
Hello. Hello. So I want to start with Mary. Mary,
Yes.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. Tell me how you got into grooming.
Oh, okay. So I was pissed off at everybody in my house.
And there was a help wanted sign at Petco, and I was so mad. I walked in and I filled out the application, and I started the next day.
That was it, huh? You just decided to go do it?
Just decided to go do it. You know what? I'm just one of those people that I can take a lot of nonsense, all right, up to a certain point, and then you cross over the point, and then we're done. There's like no going back. And it's not like I didn't warn them. Stop it. Stop it. You need to stop what you're doing. You need to stop what you're doing, okay? I start work tomorrow. So yeah, that was how I got involved in the pet industry.
So you started at Petco or PetSmart or Pet something, and then you went on straight to mobile grooming?
No, well, yeah. And again, same thing. Corporate's great until it isn't. Okay. So I'm like forever grateful for getting my initial training there. I did train with some really good people. I'm grateful for the lifelong friendships I have made there. All right. And I'm also grateful for them pissing me off enough to put a deposit down on a mobile grooming van at Groom Expo in 2001.
I'm impressed that you went right out to an expo. That's really smart of you. Did you have some advice on that respect?
Well, no, always. The person that had the grooming school at Petco initially really, she pushed that. She said, go to the shows. And I mean, I was really fortunate that there was like 3 shows within driving distance. There was Groom Expo, Intergroom, and New England, all driving distance from where I lived.
That's a great way to start out.
Yeah.
And so you were mobile for how long?
I was mobile until 2019. So I went mobile in 2002 when I got the van. And I retired in 2019, just before COVID.
Nice job. Good timing. My dad always said timing is everything in life, and that's a perfect example of a really good timing thing. So Angie, how about you? How'd you get started?
I needed a part-time job, and I had gone and filled out an application at a grooming salon, and I did not get the job because I didn't have any prior experience. I was 17. And so they said, well, check back and maybe we'll have something in the future. So I went back every third day for like a month because they said check back. So then one day when I had come in, the bather they did hire had called out sick for the third time, and only a month had gone by. And they said, well, can you work today? And I said, yes, absolutely. And of course, I was dressed in my best clothes to try to make a good impression. And I was like, yes, I can bathe in this. These are the only pants I have that are nice, but of course, I would be happy to. And I was wearing flats too. I was not wearing sneakers. So that was my first day on the job.
At least you weren't wearing heels.
That was the one thing. So I ended up working barefoot
Oh my gosh.
because the tub area was so slippery in the flats that I just ended up kicking them off and kicking them over to the side and worked my first 12-hour day barefoot in dress clothes.
You also had another career, didn't you?
That wasn't until later. When I finished college, my family told me I needed to use my degree.
Hey, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm using my degree in fine arts drama.
I use my degree every day reading science.
There you go. So I graduated with a biology major and a minor in criminal justice because I wanted to go into forensics, but I didn't realize how small of a niche that was, because at the time, most departments didn't have anything like that. So you had to move to the giant cities to even make that happen. And there's like a job for one person, who of course it was already filled. So there were no jobs for that.
I worked at a vet hospital with a lady who was going to school to become a death investigator here in Washington State. And she had to wait till the guy died.
Yes.
Then you went into law enforcement.
Yes, but I was still grooming. So I would go to work, and then after work I would go groom, because that was my normalcy, stress relief. It made everything okay.
I totally get that as well, because it's my happy place. I can't imagine not doing it. So you eventually gave up the law enforcement and went full on into the grooming.
Yes, 11 years I was in law enforcement, and I burnt out really, really hard and went full-time grooming. And I don't regret it for a second.
Hey, Mary, did you do something before you groomed?
No, I was a stay-at-home mom. I dropped out of college because I got pregnant.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah. So it wasn't a paid position.
Not officially, but still.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Angie. How'd you get interested in rabbits?
Okay, so initially it started with a guinea pig named Rumble. And a lovely woman brought this little guinea pig into the salon I was working at. And she said, he needs a haircut and a bath. And I looked at her and I said, I don't know anything about guinea pigs, but if you give me 1 week, I will do everything I can to find out everything I can. And she said, great, I'll see you next Wednesday. So I went to the library and took out as many books as they would allow me. And there weren't any books specifically on guinea pigs. It was all small mammals. So I filled a composition book with my notes on guinea pigs, ferrets, bunnies. And then I went back a week later and I was ready, and I gave him his haircut and gave him his bath and did his nails and all the things. And she taught yoga, and the guinea pig took class with her and did yoga too.
Oh my God.
If you have never seen a guinea pig doing mountain pose, you have been missing out.
How fun.
I took yoga every week for a year. I spent the entire time watching the guinea pig do yoga. And after about 3 months, she stopped saying, Angie, Angie. And I'm like, right, what are we, I'm supposed to be doing things instead of staring at the guinea pig. I am still horrible at yoga. And after about probably 8 months, she said, you know, you can just sit and watch.
Oh, no.
You know, Susie and I also have a connection with yoga because we met in a yoga class.
That's awesome.
See, look at yoga permeating our lives.
Yoga's good stuff.
I couldn't do it now if you paid me $1 million.
Well, I couldn't do it then, and I was in my 20s. So I guess it would have helped if I actually paid attention to something other than the guinea pig. But anyway, a bunch of the other people in the class had small mammals. And so they started bringing me their pets. My assistant, Angie, whose name is also Angie, worked with me for 24 years when I sold my salon and she retired. We enjoyed doing the bunnies together, and we did for all that time.
Well, that's a cool way to get into the small mammals. That's neat. They do kind of lump all that stuff together, which is a shame. So you wrote a rabbit book.
Yes, I did.
What's it called? Where can they find it?
It's called The Quintessential Rabbit Book, and Barkley carries it. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or you can go to my website, which is furrytailspress.com.
Mary, plug your books.
Oh, all of them. Okay, so my favorite book right now is A Spirited Life. That's the book I wrote about Spirit. It's told from his perspective. Then there's the Mobile Groomer's Bible, which I wrote with Beth Cristiano, and that is anything you wanted to know about mobile before plopping down 100 grand on a vehicle. Then there's the Mobile Groomer's Companion Guide, which is more like a workbook for you to do the research before you plop down $100,000 on a vehicle. Then there's the Emergency and Disaster Plan templates. So every business needs to have one. And this makes it easy for you to do it, so you can put one together in a couple of hours rather than a couple of months. And this Holistic Pet Grooming, which I wrote with Daryl Connor, and they're all available on my website, so positiveed.com/books, or walk into a bookstore and order them.
Excellent. Barbara Bird, plug your book.
My book is Beyond Sense and Scent, and it's a science-based look at the ingredients and the components of shampoos and conditioners. That's my current book. I've written 2 other books. I wrote a book on all about scissors so many years ago that it's completely outdated. And I wrote a book called It's Not Just the Grooming, on customer relations. And that one I kind of would like to resurrect.
I think that's a good idea. I'll put that on our list, Barbara. Okay, so Barbara's book can be found at Groomers Mart if you want to look for that. So 3 renowned authors. I, of course, have written nothing, but that's fine. I talk a lot. That works for me.
You're the sound man of this band.
Okay, so here we all are, casually grooming away, and all of a sudden 2019 hits, and we get this thing called COVID. How did that change your trajectory, Mary?
I had just retired from grooming, moved out to Washington, and I went full-time with Pawsitive Ed. It was a totally different business model from what it is now. So what I was watching is that my base was panicking. I mean, rightfully so. Who knew what was going to come down the line? And I was watching the membership dwindle. And then somebody lamented on Facebook about they were missing trade shows. So, and I just want to say this. Positive Educational Training did the first online trade show complete with vendors.
You get a ding for that, Mary.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Carry on.
So I changed the model to be 2 full days of online workshops. And I initially had vendors, but I ended up taking the vendors out. And I doubled the price and the membership just started to climb.
Cool. So you just reinvented yourself kind of in that respect.
Yeah, and I think every couple of years you have to do that.
Meanwhile, Angie is grooming away. And when did you meet Mary, Angie?
It was at the New England Grooming Show. It was like 2016 or 2017. Which one was it, Mary? Which one were you teaching your How to Start a Salon class?
Oh, you know what? That might have been 2017. It could have been 2016.
So a little bit before COVID hit.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So then Mary jumps into Pawsitive Ed full time, and Angie goes over there and says, hey, I want to do some stuff with you, right? You joined up?
Yes, I was one of the first members. I was all in because I was a massive fangirl. I was actually afraid to talk to her at the trade show because I didn't want to bother the important people.
Ah,
That's sweet. I love it. So you guys got to be associates through work. And Angie, did you take part in the creating a seminar thing and became a teacher that way? Or how'd you get into the teaching part?
Oh no, Mary trained me. I was one of the first to do the Create Your Program. Mary pretty much puts the path in front of you, which will take you up to the top of the mountain. She hands you your hang glider and she says, are you ready? And you say, no. And she says, you'll be fine. And then shoves you off the cliff.
Well, that's definitely one way to do it. You know, a lot of people just kind of hold back and don't jump into that. So Mary's been an instigator in that. And now things are changing again.
Yes, because it's time for that change.
You're feeling like you want to step back because you built a greenhouse. I'm blaming the greenhouse.
Totally blaming the greenhouse. I'm 61, maybe 62. What year is it? We're 2024. Okay, I'm 62. Barbara, back me up on this. At some point, it's a number. We don't even know what that number is.
right.
So I'm actually 62, and I decided many years ago that there's going to be an end date for my grooming career. There was. So that end date for grooming came and went, and then I had to set another end date for teaching because I have 5 acres here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. I have a greenhouse. I have a lot of plans, and honestly and truly, they involve, that's full time.
It is. It's a big deal. Now what's happening with Pawsitive Ed, though? Because if you're going to like do more gardening, things are probably going to change a little bit.
So about a year ago, I realized that there needed to be an end date for Pawsitive Ed. It was the one thing that was taking up a lot of my time. It might have been more than a year. So it was taking up a lot of my time, and in order to make time for other things I wanted to do, somebody needed to take over Pawsitive Ed. And I could have gone a couple of ways with that. I could have hired somebody to do it. But then there's still that responsibility I have for it, which, as Angie learned today, for me, I didn't want to have that responsibility. I wanted someone to take it over. And I think Angie just kind of casually made mention that if I was ever thinking about selling, she wanted to know about it. And I'm a great believer is that when life throws you an opportunity, you take it. So I saw Angie as an opportunity to spend time in my greenhouse, to start spending time with things I wanted to do. But there was a lot of training that needed to happen because of this. It took Angie about close to a year that I could hand it off to her and not worry about getting that call on a Sunday morning because she was having a problem.
Technically, the glitches happen. There's nothing you can do about it, and it takes some practice to be able to figure out how to manage it. I admire you, Angie, for being willing to take this one on.
Well, see, initially when I had presented that to her, it was kind of in jest. When the time came and she said, no, I'm actually going to retire, and are you interested? And everything in my brain screamed, absolutely yes. And then later, after we get off the live stream, I was in a panic because I'm like, I have no idea how to do any of that. I've made a horrible error.
You'll learn, though. It's all good. We know you. So people who are connected to the Pawsitive Ed site, they'll be tolerant and they'll help you. Mary trains good people.
She spent literally a year training me on how to do all of the stuff. And she gave me diagrams and lists, and she couldn't have made it any easier for me than she did. And we would have meetings every 2 weeks where I would show her what I had done, and she would check it over and go, yes, or, oh my goodness, no, this was completely wrong. Let's fix this and do it the right way. But she was patient, and she was kind, and she took me under her wing, and once again, set the path out in front of me, took me to the top of the mountain, handed me a hang glider, and shoved me off the cliff.
That's a good way to learn, though. It really is, to jump right in. So, Mary, I think we kind of have an indication of what your plans are for the future, but are you going to still keep your toe in the water of grooming?
For right now, absolutely. So I'm spending more time on writing. I have the books. I do the live stream for the group, so I'm not going anywhere. I just carved time to do the things that I want to do. So I will still be at some of the trade shows, but if I'm going to a trade show, I'm going to almost guarantee you there's another reason I'm at the trade show. It might be I'm vacationing in the area. It might be because I have family in the area. And I'm still teaching. Teaching and writing, that's what I'm doing.
I suppose that the gem and rock shows location would probably be a good way to figure out which shows you're going to go to.
Well, here's the thing. I keep having a conversation with Todd from Barkley about the Pasadena show being a little closer to the Tucson Gem and Mineral show.
I could see that definitely would be benefit for you. So you're going to teach, you're going to write. I assume you're going to be helping Angie behind the scenes.
Yeah, whatever she needs.
Angie, what's your plans for Pawsitive Ed?
Oh, there are big, big plans. Big plans. Okay, so in August, I'm going to have Melissa Jepson with her difficult dog class, Mindy Dinwiddie with her geriatric dog class, Ashley Hanvey with Don't Grab the Beard, and Eva Moustakis with Mobile Done Right. And Mindy and Melissa's courses will be a certificate class. There is a test. You don't just get to sit there and fall asleep and automatically get a certificate. You have to actually take a test and pass it.
I appreciate some testing.
Yes, so do I.
I do too. I totally approve.
And then in September is the Styling with the Masters, and that starts off with Terry DiMarino's structure class, which is a certificate class and a test. And then Shannon Toops with 4 hours of Bichon, and that also has a certificate and a test. And then on Monday, there are 5 different groomers, and that is for the Terrier certification. And that's Amy Hendren, Manessa Donovan, Heather Hudson, Lauren Mosquita, and Catherine Roldan. And then in October is the Spirited Summit, and that will be Angela Cumpy with 2 separate classes for creative, Michelle Knowles for scary skin issues. We have a brand new speaker who is a vet tech and not a groomer on how to keep the horrors that belong at the vet out of your salon, where she is going to go through the different issues that really do not at all belong in a grooming salon and how to stop them at the door with proper intake. And then we have Mary doing a scary cats class. We have another new speaker, Mary, who is also doing scary dogs. And Chris Bear Anthony is doing a certificate class on doodles that also has a test. And then Chris and I are doing red flag employee and employer. So half an hour is the class for me. That's my part. And I will be doing how to red flag potential hires. And then hers will be how to red flag potential employers.
Are you going to keep talking at the trade shows, or are you just going to focus on this for the time being?
Oh no, I am absolutely going to keep talking at the trade shows. I will be at Hershey, and I will be going to Fun in the Sun.
Well, one thing that's for sure going to happen at Fun in the Sun is a lot of fun in the sun. That's a good one. Well, that's really cool. This is exciting stuff for both of you. Angie, you've got some changes happening in your life and behind the scenes as well. Are you relocating?
Yes, I am moving to Florida. I sold my salon, and I am moving south where there is no snow. I currently have 2 torn rotator cuffs. The left one that was not torn all the way through, I ripped off half of what was still attached while shoveling snow. And that's when I made my decision. I'm like, nope, never doing this again.
Ouch, ouch. There.
Very appropriate. That's almost exactly what that sounded like, actually.
Well, cool. I cannot thank you guys enough for coming on the show with us. We'd love to be part of this big announcement. It's pretty exciting stuff. Barbara, do you have anything to ask these lovely ladies since I've kind of monopolized the whole conversation?
I just think there's 2 incredibly inspiring stories there. And I'm really glad that y'all, say I'm practicing being a Southerner, y'all came in to talk to us about this. So I'm fangirls for you both, and I wish you the best.
I want to encourage people to try online education because I find it's one of the best ways to learn. You can rewatch stuff, you can ask questions, you can interact with the speakers sometimes you don't need to interact with the speakers. The ability to repeat view stuff, especially in slowish motion or pausing on certain areas, I find really helpful. And because I'm short, when I'm in a classroom, I often can't see very well unless I'm in the front of the classroom, which usually happens when Barbara's talking, not often when anybody else. I'm kind of a back row girl.
When you don't fall asleep.
That's right. Absolutely right. But if you haven't tried the online learning, Pawsitive Ed's a great place to start because there is so much content and it's rotating all the time and there's new stuff being added in, and it was a great model, Mary, that you came up with, and I'm super glad, Angie, that you're going to continue it on into the future because I do think it's the way learning will be taking place more and more.
It sounds like an exciting year.
All right, Mary, plug your websites where everybody can find you, and then we'll let Angie do the same, and then we'll let you guys go on about your day.
You could find me at createthatprogram.com. You can also find me on PawsitiveEd.com or MaryOquendo.com, which is simply a redirect to Pawsitive Ed. So, I grabbed all the domains. You find me on Facebook. I'm really not fussy with my friends.
Non-discriminatory, right? You just let anybody
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. I mean, unless you're a Nigerian prince,
Army veteran with no children who's looking for a
yeah.
date. Okay, Angie, where can we find you? Obviously, PawsitiveEd.com.
PawsitiveEd.com. That has my rabbit certification class. That has the monthly membership, the individual summits, and which all, I must say, Mary started this, and I'm guessing it was probably because of me. Every single summit has not only captions, but also transcripts for those of us who have profound hearing loss. And I could always count on the fact that every single summit that I attended, Mary made absolutely sure there were captions available. And even when at one time, one of the captioning agencies that she was using was going through a tech issue on their end, she signed up for another one specifically to make sure that I could read the classes.
That's fantastic. Angie, what does it cost per month to join Pawsitive Ed? And what do you get for that?
$97 will give you access to every single summit throughout the year, the captions and the transcripts, and you can watch each of them for 6 weeks. However, there's more. There is a best of summit that is included, and you will have access to those 1-hour summits for the entire year. So what I've always loved about Pawsitive Ed when I was a member is that every single month Mary had at least one new speaker. And I always thought that was so awesome because it's a new view, a new perspective, a new everything. And so I am continuing that tradition with at least one, if not more, just like Mary did, speaker per month every month. So it's not the same voices, it's all the different voices. And I want to open those doors for other people the way that Mary opened those doors for me, to give them the opportunity that she created in my life.
That's fantastic. All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. Remember to support our sponsors. Join us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/the GroomPod, where you can ask Barbara and me all kinds of questions, and we'll try to put it on the show. So that's it. Happy grooming, everybody. Goodbye, Mary. Goodbye, Barbara. Goodbye, Angie. Goodbye, listeners. Everybody, let's say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.